Spears are a weapon class that I've always felt are just kind of there. Unless someone really likes Ornstein or Mesmer, I feel like most people just ignore them. I mean, FromSoft basically does as well. Radar can use his unique moveset for great hammers and great axes, as well as colossals, but Guardian can't use his for spears and great spears, as well as halberds. Like, are these really anyone's favourite weapon class? You might be able to tell I've got a bit of a clear disposition against spears. And I could always kind of tell that sure facing this series sooner or later. And when looking up some awful weapons I found a few people suggesting the Soldering Iron from Dark Souls 3. Unlike the Ivory Sickle and the Cleric's Candlestick though, I have actually used this before the video. In the era of the channel where I uploaded commentary lists, SL1 gameplay thinking it'd get me subs, I had a video named How to Beat Ancient Wyvern Dark Swizdafe 3, so level 1. It's one of the few so level 1 videos still up. And I used it to one-shot Ancient Wyvern at +0, so it's gotta be good. I didn't really pay much attention to it back then, as I was only using it because it was the most stupid weapon I had, but it is bad. Like, really bad. To start with, I'll go over the pros of this weapon. In PvP, the Soldering Iron has a very unique effect. After every hit landed, it blocks Estus recovery. At least that's what the description wants you to think. Someone needs to give a reality check to whatever, like, omnipresent narrating force is giving these descriptions and tell it you can't just talk out your arse. In reality, it negates 20% of Estus flask use for 15 seconds. I mean, it's useless in PvE, I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have an effect against NPCs, and I don't think anyone has ever actually given this weapon a serious second look in PvP. And 20% is basically nothing, and the description lies to you, but it's something. That's the pro. That is the one and only positive effect of the Soldering Iron, which could be easily replaced with a consumable charm. Even like Ivory Sickle and the Candlestick had like a weight advantage. This literally has nothing. To start with, I'll go over the myriad of minor issues with the Soldering Iron. First off, the range is bad for a spear. It has the second shortest functional range in the spear class, barely topping out what I think is the regular spear, which I'll actually be comparing it to later on. But for what it's worth, I didn't find like a noticeable difference while fighting them. Second, and this isn't a huge issue considering it's Dark Souls 3, but the durability's bad. Like, 25 durability bad. Like, I admit it's a non-issue against bosses, but going through an actual level with this could be a problem. And also, it still isn't the lightest spear, despite it being the shortest and total model length. Can't be infused or buffed, which is a running theme in these videos. And it's the first farmed weapon that I'm covering so far. It's not a huge issue, except you have to farm it from fucking jailers with a 2% drop rate. One of the most widely hated and infamous enemies in the series with a 2% drop rate. To be fair, this isn't the worst drop rate on a weapon. I think that goes to the Celebrant weapons in Elden Ring, which I might end up covering at some point in this series. I'll need to do more research, but I've heard they're pretty bad. But they do have a worse drop rate of 0.5%, but 2% still isn't good, and jailers are definitely more annoying than Celebrants. Now, for a more major problem, the damage. This is it. If you're enjoying this sort of content, then I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers before Halloween this year, so if you like challenge runs, weapon analysis videos, just any of that sort of stuff, I'd just appreciate it if you happen to subscribe. But anyway, back to your regularly scheduled soldering. The damage is god awful. The physical damage is 78 at +10 with a descaling and strengthened dex. But that isn't the main damage, it's fire. Except there's a tiny little problem.
it doesn't fucking scale. When you get to +10 and hit that 182 fire damage, it's not getting any higher. And if we compare this to Fire Infused Spear, that's 182 and 182, or with the Chaos Spear, it is worse in fire with 111 in Fizz and 160 in fire, but has a D scaling in strength, C in dex, and an A in int and faith. So the damage shoots up if you put a decent amount into any magic stat. There's footage of a comparison at 40 strength and faith between the two playing, and before you argue, oh but it doesn't scale with faith so it's unfair, why are you using a fire weapon without any magic points in the first place? So, in conclusion, the Soldering Iron has the second worst range in its class, lies in its description, has some of the worst durability in the game, can't be buffed, has a terrible drop rate from some of the worst enemies in the series, has terrible damage and scalings, and its main damage type doesn't even scale with anything, and its one positive is a near useless Estus debuff that doesn't even matter because whatever invader you're attempting to fend off will be tanking through your hits like they're guarding them with a great shield, and they'll still be able to heal like 5 hits worth anyway. Honestly, I wasn't even planning for this to happen, but I think this is the worst fight we've covered so far. Like, this is awful. Like, Angry Sickle was at least kind of barely functional because there's a dagger, at least it's fast. There's nothing good about this weapon. It is dog shit. Attentive viewers may have noticed that I am now Healthin and no longer a Dark Souls 2 fan. To be honest, the name wasn't very good and it was also kind of bad for search terms, which is the only reason the channel is flopping, and not because all my content before like 2 months ago was god awful. I do think 100 subscribers for Halloween might be possible if I can manage to keep up a video every 2 weeks. Week 3 can maybe be possible, but also, I don't know, I don't like my entire life to just Sunday record footage, Monday script write, Tuesday record, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday edit. But, I don't know, maybe. But, anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you know, drop a like, subscribe, share, whatever. I appreciate you watching to the end. See ya.